guys, welcome to a new video here in JS Education. My name is Carlos Santana and this is the video number 32 for the course Developing a Headless CMS with TypeScript and GraphQL. I'm very happy because this is the last video that was copied from the Spanish version of this course. So at this point after this video, we are going to be at the same level of the first course. So that means from now I'm going to start developing new features and new stuff. So that's pretty cool. Okay, let's start. So as always, remember that you need to run ncu-u in your backend and frontend. I'm recording this video right after the last video, so I don't get any new package update, but just remember to do it on your side. So the first thing we need to do is go into backend, source, data, and then we are going to create a new file called file fields.ts. And we are going to add this function. This is similar to the system fields, but basically this is gonna be for files. We are going to create a new model for files, so we are going to have all these values, model ID, and then each field for the file model is gonna be file name, file URL, size, and information. The size is gonna be the size in megabytes or kilobytes. The information is gonna be like extra information. For example, if it's an image that we are going to upload, we are going to get the dimensions of the image, for example, in pixels. Now you need to go to source GraphQL resolvers app, and in here you need to import our data, system fields, and file fields. And on the create app mutation, we are going to change this to be asynchronous, and then basically we need to return now a promise for this type, and the code that we are going to use now is going to be this one. So created app is going to run the same method that we were executing before, the app.create input, but we are going to await this. So we are going to get the new application on the created app variable. Then we need to create a new model here. I made a mistake here. We need to create the asset model with await model.create. We pass the app ID. We add a description, asset system, identifier asset, and the model name asset. So the asset model is gonna be by default like system every time you create a new application. And the fields that are gonna be related to this new model is gonna be our system fields and our file fields. And basically we are going to include those or import. We are going to create those using bool create from field, and we are going to return the created application. So that's the only thing we need to do there. Also, you need to install Multer, which is a package to upload files on the front end with Node.js. And also you need to install the types. So after you install Multer as a dev dependency, you need to install now add type/multer as dev dependencies. Later, then you need to go to front end public, and we are going to create a new directory called files. Then inside you need to create a new folder for documents, another one for images, and the last one for videos. And you need to create an empty file, and you need to save it in your public source file document as a .git keep. It's just a file to be able to commit this directory without actually committing a file. So basically you just copy that and you paste it on the other 3 folders, just like that. Okay, then you need to go to the front end, source, app, dashboard, components, content sidebar. Basically this is, as you know, we create this model, right, by default. So we don't want to render this model because it's like, we don't want to render it on the sidebar. So basically here we are going to ignore it or like skip the render if the model identifier is the asset, because it's a system model, it's not like a custom one. Now you need to go to create or edit, and then here you need to import from fogg-utils upload file. Also from the config, we import the configuration like that. Then on the handle submit method, we need to add the is file as a boolean. If you remember, if you have been following this course, probably like 5 or 7 or 8 videos ago, I removed this is file that was already here. So I wanted to remove it at that point to like avoid confusions. So basically we pass this is file parameter, and then you create is uploaded flag as false. And then after this, which means basically if the user is going to save or publish an entry, basically we ask if it's a file, then we are going to split the file URL, which is going to have like a lot of slashes, but we are going to skip like this to get the 4th position on the array using the structuring, and we are going to get the file URL, which is the last part of the file that is there. And then here we are going to upload the file. We pass values.file, which is going to have like a form data, I think it's called, on HTML file. So basically we pass here the file as a binary, and then we are going to hit this endpoint, I would say, /upload/file URL that we are going to create in our backend. I mean, not in the backend, in the server, in the front end. And then basically the file after this is going to have the file name value. And then the last thing we need to do here is on line 220 on this show alert for this message. We need to validate if it's file and it's uploaded, we show uploaded, otherwise we show the message that is here. Now you need to go to custom fields, index, and then you need to include from fogg-ui the component file, and then you need to import some functions from fogg-utils, all of this, slug function, bytes to size, get file info, get image data, get random code. Also, you know what? I think in the last, I'm not sure if I'm using the config here. Oh yeah, I'm using to get the base URL. Okay, never mind. In here, we need to include also the config. And then in this one, do you remember that we have the render dropdown, right? So now, before that, we are going to have a state called selected file. Oh, we need to import use state from React. Okay. And now we are going to create a method for handle selected file, which basically is going to look for the files on eTarget files position 0. We are going to upload just one file every time. And then we get the file here, and then we get the file size using bytes to size, passing the file.size, and then config files max size. We are going to add this configuration later, but that's needed. And then from get file info, passing the name, we are going to get the file name and the extension. The identifier is gonna be the file name with slug. We generate a random code to avoid like repeated images. Doesn't matter if the user upload the same image every time. We'll have like a different name on the file. In here, we validate if we are uploading a document, if it's document, if it's image, or if it's a video. So basically, we are going to pass the extension to the array of documents, images, and videos that we will create on the configuration. We don't have information. I mean, we set as an empty string. The URL is coming from config files path. If it's document, it's going to attach the /documents. So that means it's going to say public /files/documents if it's a document. If it's an image, it's going to have /images, and if it's a video, /videos. And right now, if it's an image, we are going to execute get image data. We are passing the file. And this is running a function to get the actual width and height of the image. So we are going to add that as information to get the width and the height. Then we set the values with the file name, the file URL, the size, and the information. And we set selected file, and we pass the file there. And then after this method, we are going to create another one called render file input. So this is the component file. We pass the name, the selected file, the label choose a file, on change handle selected file. The max file size is gonna be from this configuration. We can have some themes like success, danger, primary, etc. This one is gonna be green. Allow extension is to, I mean, we are going to validate the extensions that we are going to use on the builder. Now we need to go to line 174, and this input is gonna be disabled if the identifier is full file URL, because we don't want to change, I mean, we don't want to allow the user to change the file URL manually, right? Everything depends on the file. And then after the dropdown, we need to do this. If the type is a file, then we render the file input. Now you need to go to content system fields, index And then in here, we need to import our values. Like this. And then we are going to validate. So basically here, we're going to validate if it's a file. So if the values has a property file URL, and information, we can say that this for sure is a file field. So we need to add some validations here. So this save button is going to be conditioned. Let me render it like this. So if it's not a file, we are going to display the same button, save. And if you see here, the handle submit has the action save, but the is file is false. And then in the publish, is going to say publish and then is file. And then in the loading text, we are going to say, if it's a file, then change the button or the loading text for uploading. If it's not a file, then just show publishing. And we do the same for the actual text here. If it's a file, we are going to show on the button upload and publish. If it's not a file, just publish. Now in our content index, you need to import the config as well. And then we are going to, on line 42, before the return, we need to validate also if it's a file. Basically on the body, if includes the file URL and information fields, we can say it's a file. And basically here on the table, if you remember, I had the file types, which now I'm going to pass it from config. And also we need to pass is file. So with this, the table is going to show the assets or the files like in a different way, and not like a regular entries. And then you need to go to models, model sidebar, and create a numeration model. We already did that part. And then 81. Let me see. On the models, okay, right here. So in here, we need to add model.identifier equals assets, asset, like this. Basically, that's it. So basically in this part on the sidebar, we don't want to show the asset model, right? Because we are not going to allow the user to edit it. So we just skip that part and we just render the other models. And on the declarations, that's on a schema, declarations index, on line 24, after the handle model. In here, we are going to also avoid to render something when the model is the asset, because we don't want to show like the fields, right? Because they're not going to be able to modify that. Now you go to schema fields, index, and in here we are going to receive a new prop called model, string, and then fields, model, fields, and then line 145. In here, we're validating if it's system, but also we need to validate if it's different from asset. Otherwise, it's going to show you the edit and delete. So we are not going to be able to delete or edit the asset model. Now on a schema index, we just need to pass to the fields component on line 124. Right here, we just pass the identifier of the model. And then you need to go to source config common. And in here, we are going to add our files configuration. So in here, we have the paths is going to be on a /files, which is public /files. Allowed extensions, we are going to allow the PNG, GPG, GIF, MP4, PDF, doc, etc. zip files, PowerPoint, whatever. You can add more extensions if you want to support more files here. This max file size is written on bytes, I think. And this represents around 50 megabytes. And then on types, we have documents, which are all these extensions. We have images that are only this, and we have videos that for now we only set MP4 formats. After that, you need to go to your source config index, and you need to add the files to your configuration interface. Files with path, allowed extensions, max file size, and types. Now let's go to constants, links, and we are going to add a new constant for links for the assets. Asset link is going to be like this, content model asset directly. And now let's go to the server, where we are going to perform the uploading file. So basically here you need to import multer, and also you need to import build from fogg-utils. You need to get the function get file info. Then on line 23, we need to create this storage equals multer-disk storage. And then the destination is going to be a middleware that will have the request, the file, and a callback. And in here with get file info, we can get the extension of the file, passing the original name. And then our directory for the files is public /files. But now we validate if it's document, we pass in the extension to the array of documents or images or videos to identify if it's a document, it's a video, or it's an image. If it's a document, we concatenate /documents to the main dir. If it's an image, /images, and if it's a video, /videos. We return the callback with null and the new dir that where is going to save this file. And then the file name also is another like middleware that is going to return a callback passing the params file name. And now this part upload is going to use multer storage, which is this part here, single file. That means it's going to upload a single file. And this needs to be the same name of your file name input. Like on the input, you need to name it file or whatever you put it here. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And then finally, you need to add a new route as a post upload slash the file name from the parameters. So you are going to execute the upload, this here, and we are going to pass the request, the response, and we are going to get the callback with error if we get an error. So if we get an error, we return a 500 error with the JSON, that JSON and then the error. Also, if we just get a random error, we return the same. But if we don't get any error, basically we return a status 200 and we return the file, request that file. So that if you see this upload is going to execute this, and these parameters, the file name parameter will be right here, you see. So on this file name, we get the request that params that file name, and then also we execute the destination. And finally, you need to go to shared components layout sidebar index, and in here you need to import the asset link, and you need to change the link that we have here on assets. Right now it's only an A tag, but we need to change this to be a link, like this. So link, asset link, and that's it. So let's run our project, and let me remove or clean up the database on the backend, because we need to like create new models when we create an application. So that's why we need to start fresh. Okay, so let's see how this works. Okay, we are going to log in. We create a new application, block. In this, when we create application, remember that we are creating the assets model. So if you open here the models, we are skipping the model, right? So we are not showing that. But if you go to assets here, we already have a model, right? So let's suppose you create a new model here called post. And let's just add the title for now, so we don't waste time here. Just the title, whatever. And you see that here says schema slash model slash post. If we put slash asset, basically, I mean, we don't want to show this on the sidebar directly, but if you see, we are not able to change anything here, and we're not able to add any new declaration, because this is like a system model, right? But we can add content, so we can upload files as a new entries. So we create a new entry here. So this is our form. This is the file component to upload files. So you see here, max file is 50 megabytes. That's coming from the configuration. Allow extensions, all of these. And also here we have the file name, the file URL, the size, and the information. So if we select a file, let's suppose we select an image, for example, this one. Just by selecting that, you see here, I'm getting a green color on the extension. That means it's a loaded extension. I'm getting the size of the file, 760 kilobytes. I'm getting the file name. I can change it, but I cannot change the file URL. If you see, it's getting the name of the file with like a slug, change it to lowercase, and I'm concatenating a random code here. The size is put here, and the information is that this image width and height is 1280 by 720 pixels. And if I upload, and you see here on the sidebar, I don't have the save button. I just have upload and publish, because this is like a special way or special entry, right? So we click here, we say uploading, we publish it as an entry. I can create a new one. And now let's suppose we want to add a video that is probably bigger than 50 megabytes. And let's see what's going on. So if you see here, the extension MP4 is allowed. The size is in red because it's more than 50 megabytes. And then everything is like this. So we need to match, like for example, if I get that mauve, now I'm going to have two red things. The extension is not allowed, that's why it's red. And also the file is too big, so that's why it's red. But we can upload small videos. For example, this JS intro basically is under 50 megabytes and is allowed extension. Right now we don't get any extra information on videos, so that's fine for now. And we can upload this file. That's a video. We already have right now an image, a video. Let's upload a document. For example, I don't know, probably a PDF like this. We upload it. And let's suppose, and I'm going to upload now a vertical image. So like this one, like the Eiffel Tower. So we upload that, we publish it. And now if we go to the entry list, so we are going to show the table like this. So we are going to have the file name, the preview, and then if we click here, we are going to be able to see the entire image. And at the end, we are going to have a download button. If we click here, we are going to download this file or this image. If this is a PDF, which is basically a document, we can have here a direct download here, right? So you click here and you download the PDF. Also, you can reproduce a video here. You see? And also you can download this video here if you want. And also an image like regular size, you can download here. So that's basically the way we are handling files right now. The next video, probably I will need to add a way to select those images on the entry. So you will be able to put your image here. Like, let's suppose we add a string, but we select this is media, which is image, video, or document. And in the form, we need to be able to upload that file. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for your attention. Remember that if you have any question, please join our Slack community. The link is on the description. Also, if you really like those videos, help me to share those with your friends and also subscribe to this new channel. So thank you for your time and see you in the next video. Bye.